All right. Okay, so chapter 2.3, conditional statements. The big thing I want to start with today is I want to start writing on those truth tables that we did yesterday in case you were not here or you just didn't remember what we did. This is a truth table, or this type of problem is a truth table. They'll give you 3 sentences. I haven't even provided you those sentences yet. Maybe today I'll give you an example of one. But the goal is to figure out the math behind it. So today you're going to have the very first assignment. We'll have a bunch of these, and the goal is to figure out if the sentence is true or false. So what this is, these are your math sentences. They're up above. Usually they're in the instructions. They give you some sentence like September has 30 days. 1 meter is 3 feet, and a square is a rectangle. That type of thing. They'll have 3 sentences. You have to figure out if this sentence is true or false down here. You have to understand what the notation is at the bottom. If you don't understand what this is telling you, you'll have no idea if it's true or false to begin with, because you don't know what the question's even asking. So, what we've been talking about the last 2 days in here, what is this little down arrow symbol?
Or.
It's an or. So, what this means for an or, we've been talking about this since Monday, actually since last week even. An or problem means one or the other has to be true. That's all it has to be. So if one of those sentences is true, this is a true statement. Now, what the 2 sentences are, because I haven't even provided you what P or Q is. This is whatever sentence for P is, so you can check, you can read the sentence and figure out if it's true or false. This sentence is the negation of Q. Now, what a negation is, it means you literally throw the word not into the sentence. So maybe, maybe sentence Q was, a meter is 3 feet. But you'd actually go, a meter is not 3 feet. You throw the word not in there. So it's not Q. It's the opposite of what Q says. So maybe that's a true statement, like a meter is not 3 feet, by the way. So that would actually be a true statement. So just knowing that if one of these is true, then the whole thing is true. That's the concept. But you have to read the sentences and kind of tell. You will have to look up definitions and stuff, because there'll be a couple things in there that are going to ask you for that might be a little tricky. You got to go look them back up. I thought this was good reviews. That's why I picked some of the problems I had some vocab for us. I picked some easy ones too that you didn't have to think about too hard. But we have to set up a truth table to see what's the probability of this thing being true or false. So the truth table goes like this. You're going to have a table. And this one, it's going to have 4 columns. Now, why there's going to be 4? How I know that right away? You have to have a column for P and Q, the normal sentences. You have to have a sentence for the not Q column, like a column for that one, because if there's any negations, you always have to have their own columns. And then in the back is the answer you're looking for. So I'm looking for P or not Q. That's what I'm looking for. So to find that last one, to find P or not Q, to find if this is true or false, I basically have to look at these 2 columns and see if there's at least one truth in there, because that's the word or. It's important that you actually understand that this is the word or, because it's one or the other. So if there's one truth, it's actually a true statement, that type of thing. So that's what we'll look at here in the very end. Okay, my goal today is to do at least 3 of these in about 5-10 minutes. Okay? So we understand what we're doing? I'm going to go quick. You need to keep up. If you have any questions, do not be afraid to ask. This is your day to figure out how to do this. In case you're lost, you have to ask a question. Okay? So let's go through this. I'm going to make every combination of true and falses to begin with for P and Q, because those are my 2 sentences. So they could both be true. One could be true, the other could be false, or vice versa. Or they could both be false. That's my options for my 2 sentences. I don't have 3 sentences here. I have 2 sentences, P and Q. If they're going P, Q, and R, like we did yesterday, and I'll do another one of those today, then you have 3 sentences and you have to make every combination. There's a lot of those. I mean, there's like 8 possible combinations of true and falses. Now, the not Q column, what do you remember from yesterday? How does this work?
It has to be the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what Q is. So if you look at Q's answers here, Q was true, false, true, false. The not Q is the very opposite of them. So it's going to go false, true, false, true. It's the exact opposite, you just flip them. Okay, does that make sense, like what the not Q means? Now, the last column is the final answer I'm looking for. So to find the last column, I'm using the word or, so knowing that if one or the other is true, it's still true. and I'm using the P column, and I'm using the not Q column. Does that make sense, the two columns I'm using? They're telling you which two columns to pick. Okay, are one of these true? Yes, so it's true. Okay. Are one of these true? Yes. Are one of these true? No. Are one of these true? Yes. So I'm using those two outside columns. And as an or, that's why I'm saying I'm looking for one truth. And notice I didn't even use this middle column. I basically ignored it. The only time I use this column is to figure out the negation column. That's all I had to figure out. So now that I have that, my probability of this statement being true in the first place, the probability of this happening was, this was going to be 3 chances out of 4, that's 75% by the way, 3 out of 4, that it was going to be true. 3 of them were trues. 1 chance out of 4 that it was going to be false, that's 25%. So more than likely this sentence was true to begin with. And you have to do that for these problems, you have to figure out the probability. Okay? Now, if you actually read the sentences, you can figure out if they're true and false, and you can figure out which row it is, because you're going to have sentences, so you can go figure out, like, you know, P, I think what I say earlier, that, what did I say?
September has 30 days.
September has 30 days, a meter is 3 feet, a square is a rectangle. So the idea is that does September have 30 days? Yeah, it did. So that would be a true. So this sentence is automatically true knowing that. And then Q, not Q I should say, not Q is a meter is not 3 feet. That is true. So they're both true. So it was actually this row. So it was true, true. So the answer was true. So I knew which column, which row it was going to be in the very end. Okay, we're good with the first one. Okay, second one. This might be the last one that I want to cover today, then the last rounds. I want to go through one where they throw in a bunch of different columns. This one. So now we have 3. So we have P, Q, and R, negations are everywhere. You're going to have a lot of columns here. I don't even know what my sentences are. We could go through the same ones we did earlier. It really doesn't matter. Maybe they're the same exact sentences as before. But now we want to figure out, you know, is this problem true or false? Well, this problem is an or problem. Again, the overall problem is an or. So if this thing is true or this thing is true, then the whole thing is true. But this thing is more complicated because this thing in the back is an and problem. So I have to figure out the truth table on this part because this is an and. I'm not expecting a lot of truths here because and is, they have to both be true for it to be an and problem. Okay, so that's the overall problem. So when I set this up, I have to have a P, Q, and R column. I have to have a negation of P column, a negation of R column. I'm going to have a column for this thing, whatever this thing is. And then I'll have to have a column for the final answer. So there's a lot. I think there's like 7 columns that I have here. So let's make this thing. In fact, I'm going to need to make this tail a lot more. So 1, 2, 3, a not P, a not R column, the and problem, and then the final answer. So yeah, 7 columns. It's a lot. So let's go through the letters here. So the first 3 are P, Q, and R. P, Q, and R. The next column after that will be the not P column, the negation of P, and the negation of R column, because that was in the problem, I can see those. So we'll have to negate the P column and negate the R column. The next column is P and R, not R I should say, or Q. So this column is Q and not R column. So this is an and problem. So that's going to be the one there's going to be a lot of falses there. And then the final one, the final answer I'm looking for is the overall thing. The not P column or Q and not R. So that's the final column, the final answer I'm looking for. And to find that final answer, I have to use this column right here, and I have to use this column. Okay, questions at all about the setup on this one? All right, here we go. Let's get into this thing. All right, so making every combination true and false is, but I have 3 sentences here. This gets lengthy. I think there's 8 combinations I can have. They could all be true. True, true, true. One of them could be false. 1 out of the 3 sentences. Now I got to make all the combinations where 1 is false. So I could go true, true, false, or true, false, true, or false, true, true, so one of them was false. I could make a combination where maybe two of them are false. So maybe true, false, false, or false, true, false, or false, false, true. That's every combination of two falses. And then maybe they're just all false. They're not true, or they're not real, no. Those are all 8 combinations. Now if I had 4 sentences, oh my goodness, you'd have to make every combination of 4s. There's a lot. But now I have to negate. Now I have to go to the next column. So the negation of P. So what column am I going to use to find this one? P. Yeah, so you have to look over here and just flip all the answers, whatever P is. So P went true, 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 so it's going to go false, false, false right away. It's going to go true, false, true, true, true. That's the negation of P column. So if I used the P column correctly, then negated everything, made them opposites. The next row, or next column I should say, I have to negate the R column. So the R column is this one. I have to negate that thing. So that's going to be false, true, false, false, true, true, false, true. So it's negating all the R columns. So if you look down the R, I made all the opposite answers. The next column, the one in red, now this is an AND. So this next column is an AND problem. So that means both have to be true. And the 2 rows, or the 2 columns I'm going to use to find this answer, I have to use the Q column and the not R column. So these 2 combined are going to make this one. And it has to be an AND, so both have to be true for an AND to work. They both have to be on the, on the truth value to be true. So here we go. So on the first one, so I'm using these 2. So I try to draw arrows. Are they both true? No, so that's false. Are they both true? Yes. Are they both true? Definitely not. Are they both true? Definitely not. Are they both true? No. Are they both true? Yes. Are they both true? No. Are they both true? No. So lots of falses. I said that was going to happen. Because when you have an AND, they both have to be true. There's not a lot of cases where that happens. Lots of falses there. And then the last column is where you're going after the negation of P column. Okay, so this final answer now, in blue, I'm using the not P column, or, this is an OR problem, this column. That's the final thing, so not P or this thing. I have those 2 columns right here, these are these. All I need to make sure, since it's an OR problem, it just has to be one or the other has to be true. So if one of them is true because it's an OR, then it's true. So are one of these true? No. Are one of these true? Yes. Are one of these true? No. Are one of these true? Yes. Are one of these true? No. True, yes. True, yes. True, yes. So it looks like we have a lot of truths. And we already said that. It's an OR problem overall, so there's going to be a lot more truths. In fact, if I count those, there's 5 truths out of 8. There's 8 options, so that's 62.5% true. There's 3 falses out of 8, so that's 37.5%. So it's more or less going to be true without even having read the sentence. So this is probably a true statement, but then you have to go up here and read what these sentences are to make sure of it. And you can figure out which column it's going to be. If you could follow that at all, like all the stuff I just did there, you're more than prepared, because the ones I give you are stupidly simple. Like I'm trying to over-prepare you so that you know how to do one. Okay, now the last stuff, so that's all of your first page assignments. They're going to have you do a lot of truth tables. Some of this ask if it's true or false, you're just going to read the sentences. So you have to read the directions very, very clearly. The second page stuff, page 111, they're going to give you a sentence and ask you to write it in the different forms. So converse, inverse, contrapositives. So those are the stuff we did yesterday, like all day. We did a ton of those yesterday and a ton of those on Monday. So you're going to want to go look back at those. I'm not going to do any examples of those. You can go watch those videos again. Today was all about doing truth tables, because I did those converse, inverse and stuff, okay? All right, here's your homework today. Let me flip through it. Does anyone still need this? Okay, here's your homework today. Again, if you need more examples of like converse, inverses, and positives, you're gonna need to go look up that video and watch that video one more time. I'm not gonna go through all of those again. I wanna give you some kind of work to do. I'm gonna give you about 15 minutes today to work. All right, so through, in fact, let me just click. I'm just gonna click to the assignment. Okay, here it is. Back I'm gonna zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, page 103 and 111. The first page, this is all the truth values, true and falses. Use truth tables. Sometimes they just ask if the sentence is true and false. You have to know and or, conjunctions, disjunctions. The second page is all the stuff where you have to figure out how to write an inverse, how to write a converse, how to write a counterpositive, if the sentence has a counterexample, because maybe the sentence is false, that type of stuff. This is due on Friday. The ones that will take you the longest are page 103. That's why I want you to start with that. If you need examples tomorrow of a converse, I'll do one tomorrow. This is due Friday though, it's a short turnaround. Okay, we'll probably have one more assignment this week, probably on Friday, it'll be next week. I warned you, tentatively warned you that that as early I should say, as next Wednesday, we'll have a test in here. So that's our next chapter 2 test. We only have like 2 more sections to go, and I basically mix them together, not joking. So they're based on properties of algebra, which we don't have to spend a lot of time on, but the way that I do it is very particular. Okay, I would say it's probably good practice right now. Start looking back at previous assignments we've done. Make sure you check your grade book. After tonight, I'm going to update your guys' grades tonight. And so it's good practice to kind of look back over old assignments, especially the volume and area stuff. Because I'll have those formulas on the board on test day, but you gotta know how to use them. And there you go. So the rest of the time is yours. You got 15 minutes.
Yes.